Money bag, money bag, money bag. Bitch, I'm looking like a money bag.
Hi everybody, I'm Elena and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here on my channel, here I talk about things like veganism, self-care, and overall holistic wellness. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure you subscribe. That way you stay updated on new videos. The video today is going to be about budgeting for beginners. So what a budget is, how to establish a budget, and how to stick to that budget. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned. So first off, what is a budget? I went over this in one of my last videos about finances. So a budget is basically comparing what your income is versus your expenses. So what you have to spend, the money that you have to spend, and what you actually have, and making an outline to not be in debt, pretty much. So to be within your income. So reasons for establishing a budget is obviously so that you can afford the expenses that you absolutely need, as well as being able to afford the things that you want to do. So that's what a budget is. Just control over your money. And so next, what to include in your budget. So the things that need to be included in your budget are the things that you absolutely need, the things that you can't live without, and expenses that are going to come up every paycheck. So for example, your rent. If you have your own place, if you don't live with your parents, then your rent is an expense that is like essential to include in your budget, because if you're gonna pay your rent, then you're gonna have anywhere to live. Another thing that should be included in your budget is food, and that doesn't necessarily mean like going out to eat, but just what you're going to eat for whatever that pay period is. So groceries or even out to eat, that can be included in your budget, but it's not essential. Out to eat is not essential. So groceries. Another thing to include in your budget would be your phone bill, if you have that, and just anything like that. Everybody doesn't have the same expenses, so but those are just a few examples of the things that need to be included in your budget. So what you would do is take what you make either bi-weekly, if you get paid that way, or monthly. And the way I do it is I break it up for every paycheck. Every paycheck I review my budget. Either I use an Excel sheet or I write it down on paper, just because if you are constantly evaluating it, then it makes it easier to keep it in your mind every time you get paid. So what I do is I write down what I make for that paycheck, either the first or second paycheck of the month. I write down what I make, and then I write down every expense that I have to pay. That doesn't include like miscellaneous things like going out to eat or going somewhere that costs money just for like recreational activity. So I write down what I got paid or what I'm going to get paid, and then I write down all of my expenses, all of my bills, and everything like that, as well as savings. So a good tip for budgeting is pay yourself first. And when I say pay yourself first, that doesn't mean like go out somewhere and have fun first before you like start putting any money to the side. That means your savings account. Everybody should have a savings account. You need an emergency savings account because things come up. So a good rule of thumb for saving is to have, for an emergency savings account, is to have 3 to 6 months of what you make or what your bills are. If your expenses equal out to like, I don't know, $500 a month, then your savings goal would be that 500 times 3 to 6 months. So at least $1,500 saved up at all times, because you never know what could happen. So pay yourself first, and then that's when you start accounting for all of your bills. So rent, Wi-Fi, phone bill, all that stuff. And then you can set aside an amount for like recreational activities or like things to do at your leisure. So those are the things to include in your budget: savings, essential expenses, and then spending money. Pretty much those are the three main things for a budget. So tips to stick to your budget: the way when I first established my budget, the way I stuck to my budget was taking out cash. And I'm sure people, like a lot of people, have heard about the envelope method, where you allot a certain amount for everything and you take that out in cash and you put it in an envelope. So you can either do that, take your bills and stuff out in cash, put it in an envelope, or you take whatever you had put aside for spending and you take that out in cash. That way it's tangible and you know, like, you can see it, as opposed to with a credit card or a debit card. It's kind of just like swipe, 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 like, and then you go back and you look at your account later and then it's like it's already gone, so it doesn't matter. But with cash, it's in your hand, it's tangible, and you can watch it go. So for most people, it makes more of a thought process when it comes to spending that money, because you can see, like, oh, I only have like $7 left. Like, if I'm not going to spend my last $7 on this, as opposed to it being in an account, especially a credit card. So yeah, that's a really good way, taking out your spending money in cash. If you're going to spend $200 a month, take it out in cash, and when it's gone, it's gone. Another way to stick to your budget is especially if you do the take out cash method, leave your cards at home, especially credit cards, but leave cards at home and just bring cash with you. Another way to stick to your budget is going out to eat really adds up. So that's one thing that makes it really hard, especially when you're going out to eat. I hope y'all tip. But when you're going out to eat, you have to account for whatever the food costs and include the tip, which sometimes it's like, oh, I can just get some for $10, but you don't think about the tip, so it's really not $10. But cook your own food. That's a great way to stay within your budget. If you give yourself a budget for groceries, then make that stretch and cook your own food. You can allot a certain amount for going out to eat, but not like all the time, because McDonald's and Burger King and Olive Garden and all that stuff, that's like $5, $10, $20, and before you know it, like, you spent like $50, $60 on food, and in addition to what you already had allotted for groceries, because you know it's food at the house, right? Y'all have to it's food at the house yourself sometimes, right? I do. So yeah, that's another tip. Cook your own food. I didn't say this in the beginning, but when it comes to your expenses, make sure you're prioritizing your expenses when you're establishing your budget, meaning first things first, pretty much. So the most important expenses are the ones that need to be written out first, and those are the things that need to be paid first. Pay yourself first, and then pay the biggest, most important expenses in order by priority. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of getting a budget together. If y'all want a video on how I do my own budget in more detail, because this is just like a beginner's guide, what a budget is, what to include in it, and different ways, tips to stick to it. So if y'all want a video that goes into more detail, then I could do that, or I could do it like on Instagram or some kind of social media, put out examples for budgeting and what I do personally. Let's see. Also, there's a psychological relationship with money and spending. If y'all want a video on that, I can do that as well, because there's a lot of things that we don't exactly think about when it comes to spending money, and it's kind of just like automatic, some things that we just do without thinking, and it actually makes it harder to save money, or it makes it easier to spend money, and it's all by design. So if y'all want a video on the psychology of spending, let me know and I can go over that information too. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it wasn't like too redundant. If it helped you or if it gave you ideas, then please like, comment, or definitely give it a thumbs up. subscribe and share the video so that other people can see what's going on. If y'all want more information on budgeting, like I said, just let me know, and if enough people want a video, then I can do one very specific and detailed for how I save and budget. Thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. So one tip that I really want to include that I left out is to live within your means. So that means, for example, my brother-in-law was telling me about someone he knows personally, and my brother-in-law is not famous or anything like that, but he knows someone who goes to the gym, like the same gym as LeBron James or something. Y'all know LeBron James is not paying like $10 a month for Planet Fitness or however much it costs. Like, so if you don't have LeBron James money, like, don't go to LeBron James gym. You know what I'm saying? Because a gym is a gym. Another thing, like along the lines of living within your means, buying a car that you can afford. And just because you can afford the payment on the car does not mean that you can afford the car. You need to be able to afford maintenance, upkeep, and all that. So live within your means. That's very important. So now I'm done with the video. Bye.
Money bag, money bag, money bag. Bitch, I'm looking like a money bag. Money bag.